Hi everyone, I'm Echoes and I'm a VTuber, and I'll be continuing with Kaina the Great Snowsea with episode 7, which is called Fortress Nation. So this time around, compared to last week's episode, we actually get a lot more plot development and world building this time, especially since we're learning a lot about Valghia, which is the moving country that is, in a way, not really stealing, is it stealing water or taking water from the nations it defeats? We learn a bit about why that's the case and how their country works. So a lot of interesting details here. So yeah, let's get started. So in the beginning, we pretty much start off with Ririha, Kaina, and Yaona pretty much escaping from their box that they were hiding in order to explore Valghia. So what they learn a lot is pretty much about how it works inside. So you can see that in the beginning, you see Kaina is very awe-inspired by how the fortress looks because it's so different from any place he's been so far. He's only been in the canopy itself, so he's never really known any other place. So every time he goes to these type of places, it's like a completely new experience. You see inside, you can see all this wood that's sort of haphazardly put together. You see it's sort of like a cobbled together sort of buildings and everything. They're not made to last in a way. They're just made sort of just to make sure it works. So their main main focus is to try to escape, but also they need to get some provision because they haven't eaten or drank anything in a long time. And you see here that they're listening to this conversation in this house about how a child spills some water, and it's super precious because they don't really get much of it. So in a way, they learn a bit more about the problems of the civilians here. Especially as a floating fortress, they've only learned about what it's about outside, but not inside. And see, inside, it's sort of like a shanty town. It's sort of a place where people just, try their best to survive day to day. They don't really think about things in the long term. You see, outside is it looks pretty impressive, but inside it's sort of like they're using a whole bunch of wood just to try to keep things together. And what they notice is that down there's this line of people waiting for water because they need water to live, and it's rationed out to all the people because there's so many people, right? So they have to find a way to survive. They say water is too precious for people who don't work. So it looks like they get something called ration stamps in order to get their supply of water for the day or week or something. And they only get ration stamps through their work. It's how they sort of create their own merit system where when you don't, as the saying goes, you don't work, you don't eat, right? Here it's the same. And this woman's trying to beg for some water, but yeah, she doesn't have a ration stamp, so she can't get any. And then you see Ririha is like, oh, I guess in Valghia, water is also precious because there isn't much of it. And they also ran out, so they had to come again later. In a way, it just shows that there's a lot of water. There's only so much water to go around. And here that they're going to get some more water once they defeat Atlan, which is, Ririha and Yaona's home country. And all these people need it to survive. So yeah, so it allows Ririha and Yaona to understand the Valghian problems, and also for Kaina just to experience it first himself. Skip the opening again. Okay. And see here is that they can't really steal a ship because a lot of things are precious, and they want to get back home. And they can't stop the war because each side is desperate for water, or keeping their water, taking water. And they decide to look around the city. And because they want to take off their clothes and stuff, so they keep it kind of on the side for now. So they're just putting it down, but here is an important part. You see this necklace, right? It's pretty much, if you remember, Ririha got this from the spire tree. It's supposed to be, quote unquote, indestructible, right? However, it snaps, which means that it could be that light you know, that green glowing thing? It could be that thing sort of intervening a little bit. I consider as this is what this object is used to move the plot forward. You'll see what I mean shortly. See that there's this kid who steals it. And it steals a necklace, and then very shortly afterwards, you see some other thieves stealing pretty much the rest of their belongings. So they're obviously they gotta try to get their stuff back, and the plot moves forward here. And you see that it's the Valghia is full of these little nooks and crannies, so it's very easy for people to get lost within the huge expanse of the fortress itself. And the funny thing is that Kaina actually is so comfortable with his clothes that he never took anything off. So it means that he doesn't lose anything outside of his like airbag and stuff. And then you see that there's some people who impede them by throwing something. And they're like, why? And like, are you with the thieves? They are. But it looks like they're used to having new people come in. They've never seen clothes like yours before. Kindness won't get you anywhere. Everyone's struggling to get by. So yeah, in a way, those two were also thieves, but like, I don't know, it's like, it kind of shows the mentality where maybe other countries were, you know, living day by day, like, you know, with the water supplies they have. But here it's more like everyone's fighting to survive in this huge fortress. They all come here for protection, but they don't really, what's the word? They find that there's no place for them anywhere else. So they have to find a way to live. See that this girl's trying to get some water. And she does it by selling the necklace that Ririha had. And this guy's like, oh ho ho, I could sell it for money. And you see here is that, let's see. Oh, this guy's all trying to sell it again. That necklace, right? You see that this captain was from the ship with the admiral. And he he recognizes the necklace. It's made from shells found in Atland. So it's an Atland necklace. He's like, you won't be punished. And he said that a kid brought to him. Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to notify the admiral because he recognizes the princess's necklace. It means that he knows that the princess pretty much infiltrated into the fortress itself because the princess escaped, you know. And these people stole the stuff, and they're like, is this a hunting tool? They have the muskets and also the air tanks, and they have some sort of ritual where they touch this skull before they talk. Maybe it's like a good luck charm or something. Apparently, Prince Atlan had infiltrated the city, and that's how you know, because of the necklace. And like, oh, they're gonna execute her. Yeah, like they're like, and these they're like, oh, our stuff are stolen. This is such a shitty place. Oh god. And then they say that the princess of Atlan will be executed. You know that it's the person who they're executing is not her actual princess, because you know the princess is, you know, safe and with Kaina and Yaona. And all the citizens are going to be looking. And you realize that the person that they're executing is actually just the thief who stole the necklace in the first place. See, that necklace is very important here, as you could tell. Let's see. You see that the thieves that they were before, it's like, oh, they're the guy from before, and they recognize each other. And they're just using it to bring out the actual princess. So it's a trap. And like, oh, they mistook her for sister. And then these thieves are like, oh, this little lady's the actual princess. And then you see the admiral is like, oh, this is a trap. Don't you think this is the best way to lure out cockroach and hiding? So they're just pretty much using this execution to bring out the actual princess, because they know that the actual princess won't let an innocent person be killed instead of her. Like, you're the actual princess, this guy. And why is she... Yeah. Because she stole something from my sister. Yep. And then Ririha knows that they're just using the girl as bait. So... Can't afford to show themselves, but you see that Ririha here is going to actually make a plan here. This guy's like, what's the point? Because in a way, everyone is just trying to survive in the end. Because they think that, you know, like that girl who's about to be actually is really important to this group. So Ririha will be trying her best. You see that she and Kaina make a plan. So I also find it interesting that they have such a good relationship that they don't even have to that Ririha doesn't even have to explain what she's gonna do. It's funny. And you see that Ririha here is actually bringing herself out there. Because she is the actual princess. And if you execute innocent girl as if she was the princess, then we'll hear about Valghia being incompetent. And you see that the lady with the armor is coming in. And obviously recognizes her because she was on the ship before. She's the one with the black armor. The girl escapes. And they're like, why is she just showing herself to put herself in danger? Ririha has a plan, but you can see that they're going to just see how I can help you after he's saved. You won't stand a chance against the black armor. So that's what they call that woman. Black armor of Valghia. No one in the zone can be Amelothi. So that's the name of the general here. Because we didn't really know her name properly, but here we go. I'll call it Ameloth for now. Her name is hard to pronounce. To noble actions would kill you in the end. But it's not something I can easily change because they're both noble people. No intent of actually killing you, so don't worry. Because they're going to use her as a hostage, so they want to keep her alive. If you want to save your people, abandon your family status and live on as a soldier. So she's trying to give her a reason to escape and survive. Like you did. Because if you remember, I think the last episode, in the beginning, we had the prince of a different country being executed. He also had the same red hair as this woman. So I was like, are they related in some way? But then this pretty much confirms that suspicion I had, that those two were related. And Kaina is like, hold on, like something's gonna be happening. So don't concern yourself with me, you should worry about yourself. So yeah, so you realize that relationship. Hold that. And you see that this little motion here with Kaina giving Yaona the string. It's very important for how Ririha's gonna get out of this. And you know, I'm something of a daredevil. And you see that she jumps. She jumps off the bridge into the snow sea. And you see that Kaina saves her. This only works because Kaina and Yaona are all together. It wouldn't be possible without all of them. You see that Kaina's gonna be saving her. Because they have literally that lifeline. So it's not like some sort of suicide mission. And this woman's like, she can't be underestimated. So in a way, it's very impressed. She's very impressed by Ririha's tenacity here. More of them hiding, they're trying to find them. This guy's like, ugh, escaped from my plans again. And the good thing is that because that they helped save that girl, the other thieves are helping them out. And they're able to escape for a bit. In that because of the fact that they saved that girl from before, they were able to take them in, bring them to a safe place for a bit. So yeah, quite a good, impressive show of character for all those involved. They once more touch the skull again, because it seems to be like a good luck charm. It's their home Skull Brotherhood's hideout. Skull Brotherhood for the skull, of course. You can't just leave them there because of what they did. So in a way, their good karma carries over, and they introduce themselves. They also return what they stole, because in a way, it's not worth their lives in a way. So in a way, you see it all circles back. That necklace gets stolen, gets used, and then comes back to their owner again. So that's why I think it's like sort of orchestrated by that light thing, because it only does things if it knows that it will lead to a good outcome. So in a way, they all get their stuff back in the end. It's not. I don't think it's a mere coincidence that it sort of so neatly ties together. Get some food. And you see that the soldiers are hunting from down. They go use water to give for information. And then they're trying to find a way back to the country because Atlan will lose. And they're like, oh, can you actually beat them? Because, Valghia is such an imposing force. Impressive, but the fortress is just for show. And then these guys don't, it looks like they have some sort of, there's something scarier than the fortress. And they're like, what is it? So the admiral has a pet monster. I wonder what it is. No one could beat the monster, not even Amaleth. So looks like it's some sort of undefeatable monster. I wonder what it could be. Maybe like a crocodile or something? Our nation fell because of that monster too, so in a way the fortress has two weapons. It has its ship fleet, it has the monster. So the monster is definitely some sort of humongous weapon that could be used to truly defeat nations. And these kids were kidnapped because Valghia absorbs survivors of nations they've destroyed. That's how they replenish soldier sale. Which means that Valghia always has, like, even if their soldiers are killed, they always have more people coming in. Applies to everyone, even the kids. It's a meritocracy. Former enemy soldiers can rise up in the ranks as long as they're strong. Best of the kids are also chosen to be trained. And then this guy's like, why are your clothes so weird to Kaina? It's like, oh, are they? And then they mention that he's from the canopy. Like the one in the sky. And they explain that, the sister came in order to try to save everybody. And this guy's like, tell me more. Because I'm pretty sure they're always kind of curious because his upbringing is so interesting. Please don't hurt me. Those kids probably have them. Let me see. The kids, they're a band of thieves. You see that they hear the whole story from Kaina. Pretty much, it's probably just a summary of the previous episodes. Like, you're actually from the canopy. Say just for this. And then you see that this guy, he actually says an important sentence here. My grandma told stories of a giant spire tree, large enough to feed the entire world. He says it's many times bigger than a regular spire tree. Wouldn't that be nice? And so he kind of is like, huh. Oh, and then you see the picture. You see here that there's this big spire tree all the way in the back. You can see it's still glowing. Well, all these other ones barely glow. Like, you see this one, the little one on the left glow, but the rest, like little glows, but the one in the back has the most. I wonder if this is the main tree. And then he's like, oh, there is a big one. They're like, what? You see that giant spire tree from the canopy. And it's like, there's no way. If the trees were then Valghia won't be waging wars like this. And they're like, what? They'll end up this way because orbital trees around the sea start drying up. Which is true. Initially, and then they explain why the ship exists. Initially, the ship went around saving people when orbital trees dried up. But the population snowballed, and here we are. So pretty much, they took in the survivors of the spire trees that were drying up, And eventually the population got so big that it pretty much became unmanageable and they couldn't sustain themselves. And if we had enough water for everyone, we wouldn't be living like this. So in a way, they're forced to take water from other places to survive. Really such a thing as a giant spire tree. Then if that spire tree hasn't dried up yet, you can see the lights from Luminous still not dried up. So pretty much he's saying is that because that green glowing stuff, like whatever like creatures that are living on still alive. So you could tell from that glow, which is really cool. So does that water taste good? Water ration out to us isn't anything but. We live off fluids harvested from snow horses and bugs. So in a way, they've never had actual water. So yeah. And then you see that there's this little opening right here. And I come here for a second. It's impossible to get to that spire tree from foot, but then they realize that they could probably get there by ship. But no one's gonna believe you without any proof, right? And then you see that there's a hidden passageway here. And then you see these kids can hear it. That's the opening to their place. The soldiers are heading this way. So they have to find a way to escape because the soldiers found their hiding place. So yeah. So yeah, in a way we get like a lot of world building. We pretty much have the whole why is Valghia like the way it is? They need water to survive because their population is continuing to increase, right? And then you have the whole thing about Ririha saving the girl because of the soul necklace and escaping again. And then they're taken in by the thieves because they saved the girl. And then from the thieves, they learn a bit more about Valghia, about why it exists. They learn more about the spire tree, giant spire tree, which in a way could be the key to everything. So, because I think that big spire tree is why that light thing exists. I think that light thing is probably coming from the great spire tree and is trying to lead the group to it, which is why it's, doing so many things. And then you have the soldiers going to find them. So because in a way they like checked all the marks, and also we got world building, we got some good plot progression. So now their main goal is to try to escape the ship somehow. And then if they can't go back to Atlan, they'll probably go to the Great Spire Tree instead. So that means that they need some sort of ship to get there. Because that seems to be their main next destination now. So yeah, I hope you guys found it interesting. I really like this episode. We finally got some more progressive plot this time around. And yeah, a lot of good information, and we'll see how things progress in the next episode. Thank you so much.